My name is Olivia, and I'm a 38-year-old mother of one. My daughter Amelia will start middle school this year. My husband, Jack, is 2 years older than me and just turned 40. We both work, and I earn more than he does. As a result, Jack usually gets home before I do. When we first got married, Jack wouldn't help with any housework, believing it was a woman's job, just like my mum used to say. We met through a college friend, and after dating through our professional lives, Jack proposed. I eagerly accepted, thinking our newlywed life would be blissful. But every day I came home exhausted to find chores waiting for me. Jack wouldn't even put his own clothes in the washing machine. He would finish his meal and start watching TV, leaving his dishes on the table, expecting me to clean up. This went on for 6 months after we married. At work, I was recognised for my efforts and given a big project. Despite telling Jack I'd be busy, he didn't seem willing to help with the housework. When I had to work late, he would message me asking why dinner wasn't ready, even suggesting I should prepare it in the morning. I was frustrated and ignored his messages, focusing on my work. When I finally got home, Jack wasn't there. I made myself a quick stir-fry for dinner. When Jack came back, he was drunk and complained that I had made dinner only for myself, accusing me of spite. I reminded him that I'd been working late because of the big project and that, as an adult, he should be able to prepare his own meals. His response? Since I'm the housewife, it's expected that I handle everything, both work and housework. But my mum was a full-time housewife who didn't work, so she could focus solely on the household. What about me? You're home longer than I am, so why should I be the only one doing the chores? Jack was at a loss for words. He tried to respond, but only weak, pathetic excuses came out. I couldn't help but sigh in disbelief. Did you marry me to have a second mother? If you want someone to handle all the laundry, meals and cleaning, why don't you hire a maid? I'm not doing everything for you anymore. Jack turned pale, probably scared of losing me. At that moment, I think he realised he needed to step up. From then on, when I was late from work or Jack got home first, he started making dinner. At first, the meals weren't great, but he got better over time, and we began enjoying reasonably good meals. I was happy to see Jack making an effort. I completed a major project, got promoted, and became pregnant. Jack and I named our daughter Amelia and worked hard to take care of her. I wanted to return to work soon to support our family financially, so I left Amelia in the care of my mother or my mother-in-law. Jack said he was too scared of his boss to take paternity leave, so I couldn't rely on him. My mother, a career woman herself, supported us both. However, my mother-in-law looked at me with disdain whenever I asked for help. When I came home one day, she said, "You're working late and Jack prepares the meals. You must be working overtime because you're not doing well." My promotion and increased workload weren't due to failure, but no matter how many times I explained, she couldn't accept that I was more successful than Jack. She said, "The world is made for men to succeed at work. A woman's job is to take care of the home. What value do you have? And you didn't even have a boy, just a girl." I felt our sweet daughter was being unfairly judged because she was a girl. After that, I stopped asking my mother-in-law for help. Then my father passed away. He was a wealthy man who always cared for me, Jack, and Amelia. He supported us financially for our wedding and celebrated Amelia's birthdays. Jack, Amelia, and I went to my childhood home to say goodbye. My mother was devastated, and I tried to support her through the loss. After the funeral, Jack quickly said he had to get back to work. I wished he could stay, but if it was work, there was nothing I could do. I spent a lot of time with my mother, reflecting on my father. A month later, Jack's work became even more demanding. He came home later and often appeared deep in thought with thick documents in hand. When I asked if he was working on a big project, he just said something like that. Unbeknownst to me, he was planning something unexpected. 3 months after my father's death, just as the pain was starting to ease and life was returning to normal, it happened. On a holiday, my in-laws suddenly arrived at the apartment where Jack, Amelia, and I lived. When Jack's parents arrived, I was confused. My mother-in-law, unusually cheerful, said, "We have something important to discuss today. If we had told you in advance, you might have taken Amelia out. This discussion can't happen without you, so we didn't tell you beforehand." If it was something important, I would have been there. I assumed they thought I might avoid the discussion. Of course, I would attend if it was important, and Amelia would sit through it without fuss if she knew it was serious. But what could this sudden important discussion be about? Since it involved the family, we gathered around the table in the living room. My father-in-law spread out a large piece of paper that looked like a house layout. My mother-in-law began explaining excitedly, "We've planned a 2-family house. Jack and I will have 3 rooms, a room with a fireplace, a bedroom, and a hobby room. There's also a veranda. Amelia's room will be on the 2nd floor, and Jack's room will be there too, along with his hobby room." I was confused and interrupted her. "Wait, what are you talking about?" My mother-in-law frowned and said, "It's obvious. We're talking about a multi-generational house for us all to live in together." Living together hadn't been discussed before, and both Amelia and I are uncomfortable around my mother-in-law. There's no way we could live happily under one roof with such feelings. Amelia grimaced beside me. "You know Jack is our only son. It's natural for you to live with us and take care of us," my mother-in-law continued. "We chose a nice island kitchen and a luxurious bath, sparing no expense." I was stunned. Diana kept talking, ignoring my reaction. "I plan to order furniture from a high-end place. The land is spacious, and while it was a bit expensive, it's fine since your father's inheritance is there." My confusion grew. "My father's inheritance? Are you talking about that?" I raised my voice involuntarily. Diana spoke confidently. "There's no use hiding it. I heard it from Jack. Your father is wealthy, and though Jack didn't say much, it's clear there's an inheritance of $2 million. I looked at Jack, who had mentioned the inheritance casually, but should not have been involved in decisions about it or in building a 2-family house. I asked Jack, "Did you really say that? Are you in favour of living together?" Jack sighed heavily. "Of course I am. Until now you've been earning well, and I've helped with meals and chores, but I've had enough. From now on, even if you slack off, I won't have to do chores because Mum will be here. Plus, if there's $2 million, half of it should be mine. You can't complain about how I spend it." I stood up, shocked. "Wait a minute. I haven't heard anything about living together." Jack glared at me. "I won't entertain any objections. I'm living with my parents. If you oppose it, we'll get a divorce." Jack looked down on me with newfound confidence. It was strange to see him so assured when he used to be so apologetic, but now wasn't the time to dwell on that. He was clearly trying to provoke me. "Fine then, let's get a divorce," I said. He laughed at my statement, saying, "You're giving up your daughter $1 million and a brand new house. What a pitiful person you are." I sighed at his triumphant expression. "I've renounced the inheritance. My father wanted it used for poor children, and I discussed it with my mother. We decided that the land and house will go to her and the money will be donated to charity. So, no, I don't have $2 million. That's not a lie. Besides, inheritance doesn't become joint property in a marriage. Even if I had $2 million, not a cent would go to you." Jack and my in-laws turned pale. It was something that they could have easily found out, and I was amazed they hadn't. "So what are we going to do now?" Jack asked. "We've already started the house construction. You can't cancel it now." "I don't know anything about it," I replied. "I'm not involved in the house matters. Besides, since we're getting divorced, the house you'll be living in has nothing to do with me." Jack looked momentarily stunned, but then gave me a smug smile. "It's the house where our lovely daughter will live. You should contribute money too," he said proudly. I glanced at Amelia, who shrugged and said directly to her father, "If Mum and Dad get divorced, I'll live with Mum. I won't live with Dad, Grandma, or Grandpa." Jack was taken aback. Why did he think Amelia would choose to be with him? Amelia had always heard negative things about him from her grandmother and had no reason to want to live with someone who made such mean remarks. Jack rarely attended Amelia's events and probably didn't care about being disliked by her. "What about the house expenses and child support?" Jack asked, hanging his head. I quickly separated from my in-laws and filed a divorce application at the municipal court. I told Jack I'd hire a lawyer if he didn't agree right away, so he agreed to the divorce without further objections. Since the condo was in my name, I packed Jack's belongings swiftly with Amelia's help. My in-laws caused a commotion, so I sent them back to their home early. Jack and my father-in-law had used up all their savings and sold their family home for the construction of their new house. They decided not to buy the high-end furniture my mother-in-law wanted, but still had to take out loans. Despite having their dream home, Jack and my father-in-law had to work tirelessly, often taking on side jobs. My mother-in-law, a former homemaker, was now working part-time and handling chores. Amelia and I quickly signed a lease for a new place and moved out. Even without the inheritance, I can support us with my income. Amelia often says, "I know Mom cares about me, so I'm going to make delicious meals for her. She works so hard." In hindsight, I'm glad we got the divorce quickly.